Hi, everyone. My name is Eleni Pitsiniaga, and I'm the Alliance Manager at Unravel Biosciences. I'd like to welcome you to Unraveling Rare, a new podcast series by Unravel Biosciences that aims to connect important figures of the rare disease community in order to raise awareness and educate about rare diseases. Unravel Biosciences is a rapid prototyping therapeutics company that develops therapeutics for complex disorders using AI systems biology and in vivo screening. In honor of Rett Syndrome Awareness Month, I have two important guests with me today. I have Maria, who is a very inspiring advocate for Rett syndrome in Latin America, and her daughter, Helena, who has been diagnosed with Rett syndrome. So without further ado, Maria, I'd like you to introduce yourself and Helena and tell us a little bit about your story.
Okay, so hi, thanks for having us. My name is Maria, I'm from Colombia. And this is Helena, she's 11 and she has Rett syndrome. She was diagnosed 5 years ago when she was 7. And just from that side, you can see and you can tell that rare diseases are very, very unknown in Latin America and in Colombia. And well, October is the awareness month for Rett syndrome, and this is a great chance for people to know what we live with, what we face, the challenges, and also the nice part and the blessing we have to be around a girl like Helena. She's a bit sad right now, but this is part of Rett. Like a lot of mood swings.
So what are some challenges that you and your family are facing with battling Rett syndrome?
You name them. I mean, there's a lot of challenges. Well, first, getting the diagnosis was a challenge. We went to various neurologists in our country, and they didn't even know what was going on with her. They thought she was autistic, and we lived with that uncertainty for years. And also with the guilt of me doing something during the pregnancy, or that something happened during her birth that could have caused something to Helena, to her development. So guilt is one of the biggest challenges we face. But now that we know what's going on with her and that we didn't have to do anything with her diagnosis, that part is finally checked. And well, now we face challenges like not being able to do things as a family because of her needs and her capabilities. We have to change our plans. Her brother cannot have both of us, my husband and myself, in the same place sometimes because she doesn't tolerate some places, some circumstances. Not being able to understand her fully, because as she lost her ability to speak, we cannot understand her 100%. I mean, I can read her sometimes, but it's not easy for us to know if she's in pain, if she's tired, if she's happy and she wants to keep doing something. It's really hard for us to know what she feels, what she dreams of, if she has nightmares. I mean, she's trapped in her own body, and we can do nothing to help her release everything she has to say and to do. So I think the main challenge, and well, lots of medical appointments every 3 months. We have to go to the neurologist, having all sorts of exams to see her epilepsy, how it's going. A cardiologist, I mean, lots of appointments, therapies. Yeah, basically that.
So you touched up on it earlier. You were talking about the challenges of also being in Latin America, and how are these challenges increased by the fact that you're in Latin America? Like, for instance, I know that you are a very big part and speaker of Rett Latina. Like, what kind of prompted you to join this group, and how could other groups in Latin America benefit by joining Rett Latina as well?
I mean, back in 2018, associations from Mexico, Chile, Argentina, Guatemala, and Uruguay, they got together and they said we have to start working together, sharing experiences, because Latin America is really a forgotten place for many things. Clinical trials, there are no clinical trials in Latin America. And well, Rett Latina, what Rett Latina wants to do is to be together, to be united, and have a stronger voice for pharmacists and doctors and organizations to look at us like a really good partner, you know, not just one country with 150 girls, but the whole Latin America with lots of girls eager to get help.
Yeah, and all those points that you talked about are so important in order to not only get a diagnosis but actually get a treatment. And this kind of brings me to the next point that I wanted to ask you, and it's like, how do you think companies like Unravel Biosciences could actually help you come one step closer to actually finding a cure and helping all these girls?
Well, what Unravel does is amazing. I mean, it just blows my mind to know that you have that technology to see what could help our girls. So you have the know-how, the technology, you have the like sponsors, and in this side you have families willing to collaborate and to work with you to get better chances for our girls and for our families.
Mm-hmm. And so, how important do you think that it is to have clinical trials specifically taking place in Latin America, as opposed to maybe, say, having them in some different location and then just having the results translated into Latin America?
Well, I think it's important because, I mean, getting the clinical trials gives us the chance to have a cure, but not only like guinea pigs for the medicine or the treatment to be distributed outside of our countries, but to really be partners. I mean, work together to get somewhere, to see a light, to show people that Latin America is present and is a good partner, and we have needs, and I don't know, it's important to look not only to the US and to Europe, but countries like ours that have also really good doctors that could work hand to hand with different teams from abroad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, ultimately. So what are some kind of hopes and advances that you would see either by the research or the treatments for Rett syndrome?
What I would like to see is, I mean, finally unlocking Helena
Mm-hmm.
to be able to recover everything that Rett has stole from her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when she was little, younger, she could talk, she could use her hands differently, she could move differently, and everything disappeared in 1 second. So our hope is to have Helena back, and for her to really enjoy life and tell us what she dreams, what she wants, what she doesn't want, to be independent, not to have seizures, to be able to have friends, to learn every day different things. I mean, yeah, that's like our dream.
Mm. Yeah. And like, what would a cure mean for you and your family, and also all the other families who have children with Rett syndrome and other rare diseases?
Well, it would change everything. I mean, our life turns around their needs. Many of us, the moms, quit our jobs to take care of them. We put our life on hold. I know many times people tell us we need to have our life and everything, and we have to find things to do, but it's not easy. I mean, unless you live it, you won't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to do things as a family, their siblings, to have a different life as well, because they suffer a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would change everyone's life. Our girls' life would also change, because they will no longer have to go to lots of medical appointments, therapies, but just doing what they would like to do. You know, if they want to have a dance lesson, they could be there and not in occupational therapy X amount of days a week. The costs, I mean, having a child with a rare disease is really expensive. So it would give us like a break. Um, uh, yes, I mean, it would be like a dream come true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is there any message that you'd like to send out to maybe any families who are watching us and are battling Rett syndrome themselves, or any messages you'd like to send to other organizations and biotechs who are working with Rett syndrome?
Yes, that we admire their work, the biotech companies, the pharmacists, doctors, and we want them to keep working to get a cure. To the families, they are not alone, because sometimes we think we're the only ones facing this, but the reality is that there's a lot of people going through the same journey as we are. And well, they're not alone. And if we are working together, we can achieve bigger things.
That's such a great message.
Yeah. Well, that's the reality. I mean, just one person can do so little things, but if we are together, we can move mountains. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's a really good way to end the podcast, on a very optimistic and hopeful note. And I'd like to thank you so much. I'd like to thank you and Helena for coming on to our show. You are our very first guests, so this is a very special episode. And
Thank you.
Thank you for your insights.
Thank you so much. I hope this helps other families and brings attention to our community as well.